Good evening, Miss Anna D. This is Brandy, your classmate. I don't believe I've responded to one of your posts yet, but I decided that this was the time, probably the best time, considering this is our last discussion post of the class. So I did like yours. I read it, like we were supposed to read through a few of them. However, I did like yours, given that the way that you mapped it out and worded it on the assignment we're supposed to do almost makes me feel like I should go back and do mine. But I really do like how you tied in everything from like all the articles we did read. Now I don't know if you had the same trouble as me reading the first one about like Chinese cultures and things, which I don't think so because you excuse me, you referenced it in your references, but I actually didn't get a chance to because New York Times happened to stop sharing it freely. But it is very important when we do work with different cultures and diversities, given that, that is what we are dealing with in society. There's no one race that we'll end up dealing with. And I appreciate the fact that you highlighted that even in your comments, and not just talking about the themes and what we should do, but just really about even discrimination, how that's something we really need to catch ourselves from not doing as working in human services. Now, a couple things that I did like, even like you, I can agree with you too on the articles where they were saying, as human service professionals, we are to be aware of our biases. And then even in the story of like Rwanda, when the guy said, 3 hours for a session. Personally, I honestly thought that's the norm, even in America. I guess I was wrong. Or even some of the ways like in Kuwait, how to deal with different, people in Kuwait. My husband actually had experienced a time there, a very short period of time, and I could understand it. It made me like, I could relate to it a little bit more, knowing the backstory. But I think just going forward too, just as people, human services workers, whether we're going to be Christian counselors or just professionals, period, it's also a way to look at it, not just from a cultural standpoint, but from a biblical standpoint, that even Jesus himself worked with all cultures. He worked with those with diseases. He worked with those who were deemed promiscuous. He worked with those, or did miracles for those individuals. So just like we learned in this course to be culturally aware of and, be respectful of different cultures, we are also to be like Jesus, where he was around everybody. So your post really made me think about that. You didn't really reference anything Christian, but just the fact that you shared the way you did, I was like, wow, that's literally how we're supposed to be anyways. It just happens to be from a cultural perspective. So Anna D, I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your this course too. We have our big paper coming up, and really just your program as a whole. So it was nice to get to know you through your post. And if we have another class, look forward to reading more of them. All right, have a good one.